Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. Today, we've got an absolute ton of decks for you, our view of some bundles, and so much more. But we're going to begin by talking about the patch a little bit more now that I've had time to settle in. I did a quick little video yesterday reacting to it, but now we're going to talk about it. So Alioth is a 6/8 now that removes the abilities from any unrevealed cards, so it no longer destroys anything. It's an ability removal. It's almost like leech to played cards, as long as you have priority. With 8 power, that's a reasonable amount. So I think that this still has homes in the meta. I think it still stops certain things. I've heard it's very good in Shuri decks, and this is... I'm so sorry. I'm still dealing with the extra effects of the appendectomy. So I feel like the Shuri decks it has a home in are those where like the only way to beat them are to Shang-Chi or Shadow King them. The only way to beat these decks is to play something so big that it to remove your power, which is Phoenix Force in a nutshell, right? Like the only way to really beat Phoenix Force is to hit it with that Shadow King, hit it with that key card that beats it. Well, Alioth says, no, you can't do that. If I get my Phoenix Force going, if I get my Human Torch on it, I should be able to still win the game because I have Alioth. Alioth is 8 power to still win that lane and be able to protect my Human Torch, my Multiple Man, my whatever, Venom, so on, from being targeted by a removal card, whether that be Shadow King or Shang-Chi. I think, again, like the Shuri Red Skull things still may want Alioth. We will have more decks for you with the card that's updated. It is not dead. Don't let the early reviews fool you. Lady Deathstrike is a 5/7. I think I figured out the use for Lady Deathstrike now. She is now going to kill anything with 3 power or less, which means if you can pump it above, it's not going to kill it. It's not base power, it's just 3 power or less. I think what she is right now is she's an alternate to Annihilus. She goes in Annihilus builds with cards like Sentry and Hood, and when you don't get that Annihilus, where those cards would be otherwise unplayable, Lady Deathstrike allows you to have an option to Annihilus. Also, if you can play her in a lane after a Valkyrie, she's going to be an auto kill on everything in that lane as well. So I think those two uses are really great here. I think this build in particular that runs Pixie, it's got a really high win rate so far right after the patch, seems really, really smart in that if you can get her to be cheaper, you can use her with Annihilus as an extra bonus. I think that she's really powerful in this kind of shell. I fully expect to be running her in most of my Annihilus decks from now on. Next up, we have Sandman, who's gone to a 5/7. He's now an on-reveal, which means he only works for 1 turn. And I wanted to try him in a classic Doomwave. I haven't actually played this yet, but this is basically your classic Doomwave. You can go Sandman into Doom to try and win the game, hoping that 5/7 is enough. It should be against most non-Hela things. If you can play it on Hope, you still get your extra tick on Cyclops and Hulk. At that point, Doom or Hulk should win you the game. And some games you're not going to see Sandman. If you do see Hope, you can then skip turn 5, play on Hope on turn 4, skip turn 5, get the extra power on Sunspot, and then you can get the She-Hulk and Hulk play to end the game, which is still an awful lot of power. This seems totally reasonable to me. You even have Iron Lad as a backup Sandman. I think that this is a decent play line here. I think this should work reasonably well in the way that old Lockdown did. Next up, we have Zabu. Zabu is an on-reveal, which means that he's only discounting 4s for 1 turn, which I think means you want to play him on turn 5. So what I'm going to use him as, and I went and found that old Zun's Black Knight deck, and what I'd like to use him for is a backup Sarah. If you don't see Sarah on 5, you can play Zabu with Gladiator or Zabu with Lady Sif to on that turn, and then you should still be able to Shang-Chi and Ghost Rider or whatever else. You're not going to be able to get the triple play out on the last turn anymore, but there should be enough power in that double play, if you're playing it with like a Gladiator or a Sif, to be able to win that game still. Next up, Strong Guys gets his +6 power now, even if there's 1 card left in hand, and we're back to Woodward's 15k rank Zoo. I played this a bunch. It dies to like the current Toxic Surfers our friend Gregor made. So like more on Gregor in a little bit, by the way. But it dies to the Toxic Surfers our friend Gregor made. But It's got a really good matchup into a lot of the rest of the meta. Hitmonkey still gets really big. You're getting Bishop and Strong Guy both to about 9 power, which is really, really nice. And then you have all these like 1/5s, 1/6s across the board. You don't have to feel yourself forced to play Blade. Blade is just a backup plan if you have an extra couple cards in hand or you're stuck, because you can have one card in hand and still get the benefit. It's really lovely. This is putting a lot of power on the board, and I think this deck is actually really good right now. All right, our first actual deck of the day is Dara's Roby Junk. So Dara built this deck. He had Debris in it. Our friend Lil Robitussin put Gladiator in it, and I watched him roll people, including the homie Prashan, lots of players, as he climbed several thousand ranks with this one. This is my current favorite US Agent list. I played a little bit. This actually makes Dr. Octopus look really good, because if you have Luke Cage out, you pull that Dr. Octopus, and you're giving -3 to all their stuff there. All of a sudden, Doc Ock is a lane winner. You also have the Annihilus package. Yes, by the way, I would totally put Lady Deathstrike in this. But I don't really just feature my own builds on this channel or my own brews. I'm trying to feature things that I know work, and I know from watching that this worked. The version with Debris is the current highest win rate US Agent with the real games played, because Dara's brilliant. And then I watched Roby play this one to an even greater success. Gladiator working really, really, really well in the deck. All right, you can find Dara at twitch.tv/DaraJN and twitch.tv/Lil_Robitussin for Robo. So Debris over Gladiator is Roby's change. Debris can also be Hope. Hobgoblin Ravona also makes sense, or add Lady Deathstrike. And you can do that as you will. I don't especially love Hope in this list. She is nice, but not pivotal. I watched Roby win 60% of his games over like 4 hours with this deck, so it is very powerful. Turn 1 Hood, turn 2 Jeff. Turn 3, Hope is generally better than Gladiator, which is more or less equal to Luke. Gladiator's a lot of power. Luke is great. Take your pick. Gladiator's also really often good on the last turn of the game after you've Doc Ocked and that lane is full. Turn 4, Sentry or Goblin and Titania. So you drop Sentry or you drop Goblin and Titania, and you're fine. Turn 5, Annihilus or Doc Ock. If you played Sentry, you'd really like it to be Annihilus, but it doesn't have to be. Doc Ock is also very, very good. And then you end the game with Shang and US Agents. Quick look at this list. Again, it's really strong. It's really fun. If you get US Agent, if they ever figure out what the hell they're doing with this, then you should absolutely play this deck. All right, please hit that sub, hit that like, hit that comment. We do 7 days a week of videos here on this channel. This will be an 8 video week, because we did the extra video for the patch yesterday. We cover everything Marvel Snap, from bundles to everything else. I was in the hospital 2 days ago. I'm back already doing videos again. We don't miss here. Please stay tuned. Check us out. We promise to bring you the best content we can. All right. Hope is out in Spotlight Caches. In case anyone was wondering, we had that question. I got it confirmed internally from Steven. I went and specifically asked Steven, is Hope out? And they tried to replicate whatever the hell was happening, but Hope started coming out at the same time, so there is no problem. Hope is out in out for tokens. In addition, card customization is not out, but is due out at the end of the month. It was in the patch notes by accident. It'll be out later. Cool. A million people asked me to take more days off after my appendectomy, and I greatly appreciate the concern, as always. I'm going a little stir crazy. I really want to go back to work. I'm a teacher, to anyone who's brand new here. I miss it greatly. I'm talking to my kids all the time now. Doing these videos is really good for my mental health. It might not be the best for me physically, which is why this is a little slower paced than usual, but I really need something to keep my mind occupied, and these videos are doing that. So I greatly, greatly appreciate the concern, but I promise you this is how I'm keeping my sanity. As a Banana asks about the rock, paper, scissors nature of Snap. So that exists, but not as much as people like to think. You need to know your outs. So the thing about Snap is, because of the snap and retreat mechanic, you need to know your outs for like late conquest rounds, but on ladder, usually in a bad matchup, you just get snapped and walk away. So like there is a rock, paper, scissors in that you don't have to outplay your bad matchups on ladder for the most part. You only really have to outplay your bad matchups in conquest. In Conquest, though, you can play to your outs. I've watched many great players, from Lambita.go to Dara to Den, simply take bad matchups and bend them to their will by being able to know exactly what they need to do in that specific matchup to win. So Snap does have rock, paper, scissors. Basically, I mean, it's got like 18 things, right? Like, so it's rock, paper, scissors, and then like 5 more categories, but still it does. But rock doesn't always beat paper. We just don't see the like 50% of the time or 47% of the time that rock does beat paper, because we're just running it from that on ladder. Nate Allen asked about running Hope for 5-drops, and I generally don't like that. I think Hope prioritizes a 4s and 6s game plan, which is interesting because they just remove Zabu and then put in another card that makes 4-drops better, which is Hope. You want to play a 4 and then you want to go 6/6, or you want to sort of go wide and play a bunch of cards with Hope. The only exception to that really right now is Vision, because Vision does something entirely different to the game. You can do a 5 and a 2 to end the game, which has reasonable power with Hope, but you don't want to be running a ton of 5-drops with Hope, because what she ultimately does is allow you to skip that turn entirely. If you'd like your question read out in tomorrow's video, please leave one in the comments. Alright, our friend Gregor2424 cracked Zoo. This deck is sick, and it just got better over the last day. I was going to say we should totally cut Echo from this, and then nope. We are not cutting Echo from this. Echo is so much better than it was a few hours ago. As people are trying all this ongoing nonsense that you can snipe with Echo. Like if you're playing that Wong Surfer thing, they so let you know where to Echo, for example. Mobius is also really, really strong in the meta right now, and everything else is just sort of putting out a bunch of power. Alright, you can find Gregor at twitch.tv/Gregor2424. No Echo, I'd go Rocket. Crossbones can replace Cull without missing too much. You do need Mockingbird, and you can try Blue Marble for Cannonball, but Cannonball is the secret MVP to this list. Alright, turn by turn and snapping. So this is an Infinity ticket clear already. Turn 1, Ant-Man or Squirrel Girl are generally better than Echo. You're saving Echo late to snipe something. Turn 2, Dazzler over Armor, and if you're playing that Armor early, you're playing it to play it like with a 1 and a Cull, so that Cull doesn't just get shonged, and that's generally better than 1s. Turn 3, Shauna over Mockingbird over Mobius, although sometimes you just drop that 3/9 Mockingbird if you played Squirrel Girl. Turn 4, I like Kazar over Cull unless I have that Armor out. Turn 5, Sarah, and then turn 6, you just sort of go off with as much stuff as you can. This deck is very strong. It puts out a lot of power, and it's really hard to deal with. There is a big baby version of this that ran Alioth that is significantly worse with the new Alioth. I think this replaces it as the best Zoo in a competition with Woodward, and I do think this is a serious contender, a top-tier deck worth playing, so please give it a try. Alright. This is a really solid little bundle. This Dazzler bundle is great for people who are still in Series 3. It is people for people who are less than 50% collection complete. They should buy this Dazzler bundle. The extra credits have extra value for those players. It's 202% progress, which is what we like to see. It's really, really great value. Go get it. Feel free. Cool. Meanwhile, the Hidden Galaxy bundle is for people who are collection complete, like myself. The less progress value here is offset by the gold, which can then be turned around and used for more bundles. These gold bundles aren't great, but they're good enough value. We can buy things like Token Tuesdays with them and get that extra token value, and we're not losing out on the credit value. Largely because, well, the credits have less value since we're Series 3 complete. Get it? Cool. So, lower collection level, get this. Higher collection level, get this. Alright, Chaos Pro, our friend, has a new Cerebro 3, and this one is so janky. I love it. It's a very silly list. You have to be a little careful because there's a slight anti-synergy between Bast and Captain America. But as long as you're careful with that, you should be totally fine playing this list. Let's take a look. You need US Agent. That's the only high series card here. This is both fun and pretty good. I was messing with it earlier. So turn 1 Bast if you have good targets, and the good targets are very obviously Cerebro, Iron Man, Magic, Mystique. Cool, and Sinister. Turn 2 Sinister if you have Cap or Bast, because Cap will make the Sinister a 3. If not, you just play Jeff. Turn 3 is Storm if you have Cap, Jeff, Cap or Jeff. If not, you play Magic. Turn 4, Cap or Juggernaut on Storm. Turn 5, Iron Man or Magic and US Agent. Cool. Turn 6, Iron Man if you magicked. If not, Cerebro and Mystique. Turn 7, Cerebro and Mystique what you can. And then you just win. People will have no idea what you're doing. Captain America is sort of hilarious here. I think this list is really cool. US Agent being able to pull a ton of power off things late in one lane with Iron Man adding a ton to the other means that you're probably just going to win. It's really good when you can pull it off, and it's not as hard to pull off as it seems. Please try this list. Alright, certain tiers of support on our channel come with on-air thanks. Blech, I did that so poorly. Certain tiers of Patreon support on our channel come with on-air thanks. We've got Abigail Giesler, Mediterranean Burnout, Cables, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, Fothor Newman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., Jane Everett, J.D. McDonaldino, Caretix Lee, Coy Ray, KCH, John O'Golding, Doku, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins, Rob Silverman, Juan Diego Lebed, The Bizza, Extras V, Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Ryan Wood, Models, Louis Antunes, Matt H, Mikey Hijinks, No Flex, Hilarious, Craig Starry, Pretty Chill, Seamus, Spike Jones, Two Ties, The Pirate King Tucker, The Homie Min, Love You Bud, and of course, Nunny T, where the T is for, geez, maybe I should have let him do this one. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I think these decks are really cool. I think it's worth remembering that even if you hate this patch, it's only temporary. Nothing in this game lasts for too long. We're getting another OTA coming soon that will shake things up yet again. So chill, enjoy the game. I'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Peace.